There's a sentence you repeat every night that sounds harmless. It feels responsible. It feels mature, like you're being patient with yourself. But it's not patience. It's avoidance with good branding. This sentence doesn't ruin your life loudly. It tucks you in. It lowers your heart rate. It helps you sleep. And that's why it's dangerous, because anything that helps you sleep while your life stays the same is teaching you how to stay stuck. You've told yourself this sentence so many times it doesn't even feel like a lie anymore. It feels like common sense. And right now, before we go any further, there's a good chance you already know exactly which sentence I'm talking about. Every night, it feels unplanned, but it's not. It's a loop you've practiced. You tell yourself you'll go to bed early. You don't. You tell yourself you'll stop thinking about it tonight. You can't. The day finally releases you. No more messages, no more expectations, no more pretending you're fine. That's when the weight shows up. Not as panic, as awareness. All the things you manage to outrun during the day line up quietly and wait their turn. You start negotiating with yourself, not out loud, in feelings. Now isn't the time. I'll have more energy tomorrow. I just need one good night of sleep first. You're not lying to hurt yourself. You're lying to survive the night. Your body is exhausted. Your mind wants peace. So it chooses the fastest exit. Distraction first, reassurance second, truth postponed. You feel yourself drifting. Not because things are resolved, but because they've been temporarily wrapped up. And right before sleep takes you, there's that quiet moment. The one where you almost admit the truth. Almost. Then the sentence appears, soft, familiar, perfectly timed. It doesn't ask you to change. It asks you to rest. And you let it. The lie is careful. It never asks for too much. It knows exactly how far it can go without waking your alarm bells. It doesn't say, quit. It says, stabilize first. It doesn't say, you're afraid. It says, you're being smart. It reframes hesitation as wisdom, delay as preparation, fear as self-respect. And the scariest part, other people would agree with it. If you said this sentence out loud, no one would challenge you. They'd nod. They'd tell you it makes sense. That's how you know it's dangerous, because real lies collapse under scrutiny. This one survives conversation. It survives logic. It survives advice. It even survives self-awareness. You can know you're avoiding something and still let the lie finish the sentence for you. That's because it doesn't attack your goals. It protects your comfort. It promises you rest before effort, certainty before risk, confidence before action. But those things don't come first. They come after. The lie flips the order, and every time you accept it, you quietly teach yourself a rule. I act when I feel ready, and readiness becomes a feeling you keep waiting for. A feeling that never quite arrives. So the lie doesn't stop you, it delays you, and delay feels innocent until you realize how much time it's been holding. So why does the lie feel so comforting? The lie works because it meets you at your weakest point. Not when you're motivated, not when you're clear-headed, but when you're depleted. At night, your defenses are down, your willpower is spent, your emotions are closer to the surface. That's when the lie feels like a blanket. It doesn't argue with your exhaustion. It validates it. You've carried enough today. You can't fix everything at once. You deserve peace. All of that is true. That's why you trust it. The lie doesn't push you into sleep. It invites you. It lowers the volume on your thoughts just enough to quiet the guilt. And guilt is the real thing it's managing, because guilt keeps you awake. Guilt creates pressure. Pressure demands action. The lie removes pressure by promising action later. It tells you future you will handle it better. Smarter, calmer, with more energy. So present you gets to clock out. There's also a deeper comfort hiding underneath. The lie delays disappointment. If you don't try yet, you can't fail yet. If you don't start yet, you can't discover your limits yet. Waiting protects the version of you that still believes everything is possible. The lie keeps potential intact by never testing it. And that's comforting in a quiet, dangerous way. Because as long as the future is untouched, you don't have to grieve what might not happen. So the lie isn't just helping you sleep. It's helping you avoid mourning a version of your life you're not ready to let go of yet. The cost doesn't just touch your future. It seeps into today. It shows up in moments you think are small. The casual "I'll do it later" when you should speak up. The excuse you tell yourself instead of taking a risk. The hesitation before starting something meaningful. Each one seems minor. Each one feels safe. But safety like this isn't free. Over time, these small concessions add up. They become the invisible scaffolding holding a life that's smaller than what you imagined. The cost is also social. You start noticing a pattern with people around you, opportunities they grab, connections they deepen, dreams they chase. You see it, and you feel a little farther away. Not angry, not jealous exactly, just aware. And that awareness is uncomfortable. The lie also costs your clarity. You forget the difference between urgency and fear, between patience and avoidance, between real priorities and just pretending to have them. You don't always notice it immediately, but the longer you follow it, the more your instincts dull. Your intuition, the thing that should warn you, starts accepting delay as normal. The most insidious part? You get used to it. And once you're used to paying this price, it becomes your baseline. Your expectations shrink. Your sense of possibility diminishes, and all the while, life keeps moving. It doesn't wait for you to catch up. The cost is measured not in drama, but in the quiet, cumulative erosion of the life you could have had. If you keep letting the lie run the show, you won't even notice until one day you realize you've been sleeping through most of it. So how the lie rewrites your identity. At first, it's just a sentence you repeat, a harmless phrase to get through the night. But repetition has power, and the more you tell yourself this lie, the more it starts to define you. It doesn't just influence your actions, it starts shaping how you see yourself. I'm just not ready. I work better under pressure. I'm not that kind of person. Those words stop being excuses. They become facts, the story you tell yourself about who you are. And once it becomes part of your identity, everything changes. You stop questioning. You stop trying. You stop imagining something bigger. Because the lie has convinced you that waiting isn't just okay. It's you. It rewires your memory, too. You forget the times you tried and succeeded. You minimize the moments you acted despite fear. Your brain edits history to match the story it wants to believe. Before you know it, the sentence isn't just something you say at night. It's who you are in the mirror. And this is where most people get stuck. Not because they're incapable, not because they lack ambition, but because the lie has made them believe they always will be this way. It teaches you to postpone yourself, to protect the version of you that feels safe, and safety feels good, until it becomes a cage. The lie is subtle. It doesn't shout. It doesn't slap you awake. It whispers, "You're fine. This is who you are." And when you hear that every night, day after day, year after year, you start living it. Your identity isn't just shaped by your choices. It's shaped by the sentences you accept while no one is watching. And that's the trick. The lie doesn't just delay your actions. It delays your becoming. It rewrites the story of you, so carefully, so quietly, you almost never notice. And here comes the moment you almost catch it. These flashes of clarity don't happen on schedule. They sneak in when your defenses are down, sometimes in the middle of a mundane task, sometimes in the stillness of a sleepless night. And in that instant, everything becomes vivid. You see the pattern, and you see how long you've been putting things off. How many laters have stacked up into years. It's uncomfortable. Not because you feel guilty, not because you're ashamed, but because your inner self, the one you usually protect, is staring you in the face and saying, "You know better. You know what's true." And it's tempting to act. A surge of energy, a spark of intention, almost makes you believe you can break free right now. But then the lie returns, smooth and familiar. It softens the edges of reality. It whispers, "You'll do it tomorrow. Things aren't ready yet. Just get some rest first." And suddenly your courage feels premature. Your clarity feels heavy. Your intentions inconvenient. The lie doesn't shout. It doesn't manipulate. It simply waits for you to lower your guard and convinces you that postponement is safer than action. Yet even as it convinces you, the flicker of truth lingers. A quiet question in your mind. Am I really willing to keep waiting forever? And that question is powerful. It's subtle, but it plants a seed. The seed knows the truth. It knows you're capable. It knows the lie is just that. A sentence, not a rule. The challenge is that these seeds rarely get watered. You sleep, you wake, and the cycle begins again. But every time you almost catch it, you gain something, awareness. The lie isn't invincible, and your potential isn't gone. You just have to decide whether to follow the whisper or the familiar comfort that has been running your life all along. And here's the truth behind the lie. The lie finally has a name. It's simple. It's quiet and terrifying in its simplicity. You don't have more time than you think. That's it. Not dramatic, not a moral judgment. Just a fact you've been ignoring. Every later you've promised yourself is a moment you've spent pretending the future is unlimited. Every postponement is a small bet that tomorrow will be easier, that you'll feel more ready, stronger, braver. But here's the catch. Tomorrow doesn't owe you anything. It won't pause until you catch up. It won't reward careful hesitation. It just arrives. And the truth behind the lie isn't just about time. It's about fear. The lie exists because you're afraid of failure, afraid of discomfort, afraid of realizing how much work it takes to become the person you imagine. It dresses fear up as reason, patience, wisdom, waiting for the right moment. But there is no perfect moment. The right time is an illusion. It's a story you tell yourself to feel safe. The lie promises comfort, and that comfort is seductive. It allows you to sleep at night, to lower your chest, to slow your heart. But the cost is subtle. It robs you of momentum. It delays growth. It convinces you that delay is identity. The truth is harsh because it demands honesty. You can't hide behind the lie and grow. You can't postpone life and expect to live it fully. The lie is a shadow. It follows you from night to night, whispering safety. But the truth stands in the light. You can't borrow tomorrow. You can't postpone yourself indefinitely. The moment you recognize this truth, everything changes. Even a little, even just noticing it. Because suddenly, the sentences you repeat in the dark lose their power. And for the first time, the life you've been delaying feels like it's waiting for you. Not somewhere out there, but right here, right now. So what actually breaks the pattern? Here's the thing. Motivation won't fix this. Discipline alone won't fix this. Even willpower, your just-do-it energy, isn't enough. Because the lie isn't about laziness. It's about self-deception. And self-deception doesn't respond to force. What breaks the pattern is honesty. Simple, brutal, unflinching honesty. You notice it the moment it shows up. Not later. Not tomorrow. Not after you've rested enough or prepared enough. You hear the sentence in your head, "I'll do it later." Not tonight. Tomorrow. And instead of agreeing, instead of letting it slide, you name it. That's the lie. Say it in your mind. Say it out loud. Whatever works. The moment you name it, you shift. You stop pretending. You stop postponing. You create a tiny gap between the lie and yourself. And in that gap, power exists. Power to choose. Power to act. Power to refuse the comfort that has been holding you hostage. Breaking the pattern isn't about huge leaps. It's about noticing the lie, consistently, every night, every time it shows up. It's about tiny interruptions, small acknowledgments that you don't have to believe it. Because the lie relies on repetition, on quiet acceptance, on invisibility. Expose it, name it, challenge it. And slowly, imperceptibly, the pattern starts to crumble. The next step is still yours to take. But the first step, the step that most people never take, is simply awareness. Once you notice it, the rest becomes possible. You're not fighting yourself. You're refusing to sleep through your own life. And that is where change begins. Breaking the pattern isn't easy. The lie has been running your nights for years. It's patient, persistent, and it knows all your weaknesses. The first challenge is resistance, your own comfort. The lie feels safe, comfortable, even necessary. When you try to confront it, your brain fights back. You feel tension, anxiety, doubt. You wonder if you're being reckless for even questioning it. The second challenge is consistency. Not every night is a breakthrough. Some nights, the lie will win without a fight. And that's normal. The danger is giving up entirely, believing that one failure erases all progress. The third challenge is subtle sabotage. Friends, routines, even your own thoughts can reinforce the lie. You're too tired. You've earned this. You'll do better tomorrow. These whispers are familiar. They sound right, and they're designed to keep you stuck. The fourth challenge is fear of discomfort. Facing the truth means facing uncertainty, rejection, failure. It's easier to stay in the familiar pattern even if it costs time, energy, and potential. And the fifth challenge, the hardest, is patience. Breaking the pattern doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of noticing, naming, and choosing again. And again. And again. It's slow. It's quiet. And the progress is often invisible. But here's the key. Challenges are proof you're doing something real. If it were easy, the lie wouldn't have survived this long. Every struggle is a sign that you're pushing against it, that you're reclaiming time, energy, and yourself. Challenges are not reasons to quit. They are signals you're on the right path. The question is, will you keep noticing, keep naming, keep choosing differently, even when it's hard? So how to keep the progress? Keeping progress requires making it automatic, not occasional. The lie is sneaky. It thrives in gaps, in fatigue, in moments of distraction. So the more intentional you are, the harder it is for it to sneak back in. One way to stay ahead is to build rituals around honesty. Before bed, take a few minutes to check in with yourself. Ask, what sentence am I telling myself tonight? Is it helping me or holding me back? This small pause trains your mind to notice the lie before it whispers too softly to detect. Another strategy is accountability. Share your awareness with someone you trust. Even a simple statement like, "I noticed I almost postponed again tonight," creates external reinforcement. It makes the lie less invisible, less safe. Tracking your wins and losses also helps. Write down when the lie shows up. Write down when you notice it. Over weeks, you'll start to see patterns, and patterns are the map for progress. It also helps to celebrate small victories. Noticing the lie and choosing differently, even in a tiny way, is proof of growth. Don't wait for big results to validate your efforts. Every night you catch it is a victory. You should also prepare for relapse. The lie will test you again, in different forms. It will disguise itself as practicality, wisdom, or self-care. When that happens, don't beat yourself up. Notice it, name it, and reset. Progress is cumulative, not flawless. Finally, make self-reflection a long-term habit. Every week, review where the lie has crept in, where you resisted, and what worked. This reflection strengthens your intuition. It teaches you to anticipate the lie before it fully convinces you. Over time, these practices reshape more than just your nights. They reshape your decision-making, your relationship with time, your sense of self. The lie will never completely disappear. It's part of how our brains try to protect us. But with consistent attention, naming, and action, its power diminishes. And eventually you'll notice a new truth. Your life isn't being run by the sentences you tell yourself in the dark anymore. You are. You are awake. You are present. You are finally, quietly in charge. Most people think the only reward for confronting the lie is progress, achievement, or success. But there's a quieter, deeper reward that rarely gets noticed. First, there's clarity. The moment you name the lie, the fog lifts slightly. You see your life, your choices, and your priorities with sharper focus. Even small decisions feel lighter because you're not carrying the weight of unspoken excuses. Second, there's energy. It might seem counterintuitive. Facing the truth feels heavy, but it actually frees you. The energy you spent negotiating with yourself, convincing yourself it was okay to wait, suddenly becomes available. You can redirect it toward things that matter. Third, there's self-respect. Every time you notice the lie and choose differently, you prove something to yourself. You're capable of honesty. You're capable of action. You're capable of being awake to your own life. Fourth, there's courage. It grows in small increments. The more often you confront the lie, the more naturally you act despite fear. The seed of bravery planted in small moments eventually blossoms into bigger choices. Finally, there's freedom. You realize the lie no longer controls you. Your nights are quieter, not because you avoid thinking, but because you face it head-on. Your days are fuller, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you're moving through it consciously. The subtle rewards are cumulative. They don't announce themselves with fireworks. They whisper, they accumulate, and over time, they transform more than just your habits. They transform who you are. The lie may still appear. It may try to comfort you. But now, you've tasted what happens when you refuse to believe it, and that taste is addictive in the best way. At some point, you realize the lie has been a constant companion, not cruel, not loud, just quietly shaping the edges of your life. The truth is simple. You can't outrun it. You can't ignore it forever. But you can face it, over and over again, until its power fades and your presence grows. You'll still hear the lie sometimes. It will whisper. It will test you. But now, you recognize it. You know how it works, and you know you don't have to listen. The nights get quieter. The days get clearer, and in that quiet, that clarity, you discover the most powerful truth. You are awake. You are present. You are finally, unmistakably, in charge of your own life. And that is enough.